Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm going to say third time's a charm because I don't ever edit my videos if I go on a crazy ramble or just doesn't work out. I start over and then so this is the third time. So third time's a charm. But here we go. So, welcome everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We are just after Lunasa or Midsummer, Loaf Mass, however you refer to this time, or if you don't, this is the middle of summer. We are at a point in the annual cycle of really beginning to see the manifestations of all of the things that we've put our energy into. So whatever you started back at Yule, your New Year's resolutions, your spring equinox beginnings, all of that stuff, we're seeing what's manifesting out of that, what we began to create. It's also when the earth begins to provide those fresh harvests. I mean, I guess we've been getting more and more of them, but you see a lot more fresh fruits. My tomatoes are really starting to pop. They're not turning red yet, but we'll get there. But we are really seeing the manifestation of things to come and the beginning of that blossoming and the ripening. So we are also, the universe is also kind of in this same kind of energy right now with big transformations, manifesting big change, and really focusing our energy on that manifestation. So we are... It feels very chaotic right now. And most people that I talk to are in some form of chaos, be it that they are really affected by the retrogrades going on right now and are analyzing and questioning all of their life choices, or people are in this state of seeing devastating truths and realities and then dealing with the consequences of those things and really moving forward. I spoke previously about our farm and finding out some really bad news. We are working through it, and fingers crossed the city just approves the plan that they have presented us with, because if they do, we'll be all right for now. It'll give us probably another 30 years before they expand the road again and we lose the house, and then because of the property and the way that it's laid out, there's a waterway that runs through it, so there's nowhere else you can build a house on the property. So anyways, so fingers crossed that's what's happening. There's just so much going on right now. And I think that everybody is receiving some kind of devastating news, some kind of life-altering reality, some big truth that's come to them, and we are working through that. And right now is a time when we can stop and we can take a breath and we can say, okay, even though I'm in this world of chaos and there's so much crazy going on around me, I can also rise above and see the benefits and the lessons and the healing and what my future holds for me, and really step forward into that. So we have the dark moon coming up in Leo, and so we have quite a bit. I mean, even the chart looks kind of chaotic. We have a lot going on right now in the universe. So we have a couple big things, a couple reoccurring things that are still happening. And like I said, this is a dark moon, and it is in Leo. It will be on August 4th. It'll be at 12 degrees. And Leo and the sun come together in a very vibrant, a very potent energy. And Leo is the lion. It is creative, it is loving, and it calls to our sovereignty. Leo is a ruler who rules knowing that he doesn't have to do it with an iron fist and really beat down this authority. He rules knowing that he makes the best choice for the community, and then for the community supports him in what he's doing. And is really a good leader and really steps forward to make that leadership happen without being forceful or a tyrant of any kind. This energy is also about being your own leader and tapping into your own leadership, and not only being a leader like I can step forward and I can do these things to help, you know, lead in whatever situation is your jam, but knowing that you are the leader of your emotions, you're the leader of your feelings, of what you are seeking out in knowledge, and knowing that you are able to explore yourself freely because you have that confidence. It really calls us to, you know, shift our focus and focus on our community, our pride, not our pride like I'm proud of myself, but our pride like our, you know, the lion's pride. When you visualize the energy of Leo, it is that proud lion sitting on top of the rock looking down over his kingdom with the knowledge that, you know, it doesn't take malice or greed or lust or all of these negative things in order to be a leader. What it takes is kindness and honesty and integrity, and that when we have these things in ourselves, when we step forward into the world with that, we can achieve just about anything. It allows you to have that higher perspective, knowing that I have the knowledge and I also have the understanding that I don't know everything. So what I do know can help me make choices and move forward, but I am open to new information. And that's where that creative part of Leo comes in. It's also of the heart. Leo very much leads from the heart, out of love, out of compassion, and from that place of, like, I'm not doing this for the recognition, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. And so that's the energy that's really called into. And since we have the sun and the moon both in this, and then we have Venus at 29 degrees of Leo, which brings in this. So 29 degrees is the mastery number of the sign, and Venus is the sign of love. So this is a mastery of the heart. This is a mastery of self. And all of these planets hanging out in this energy really ask us to step forward and say, you know, I love myself, not in a vain way, but in like a, I have the confidence and I have the integrity to step forward, knowing that I'm making the best choice that I can and doing the right thing. And that is a beautiful thing, and really stepping into that energy. So overall, during this dark moon, the universe pushes us to focus on our desires, and that what we desire, we can manifest, and to step out of the mundane and climb atop the rock. I'm sorry, sometimes what I write when I'm writing these things out, I think is really funny. So when I go to read it, it sounds so much better when it's just written down. Anyways, climbing atop the rock to see the future and what you will manifest, but also seeing the traumas that you have from your past and what you're healing from and what they help you to know and overcome and to move forward stronger. We have a lot, we still continue a lot of energies that we've been talking about now for almost a year, and really manifesting this change that helps you to heal and see the truth and step into this new reality. Like, I don't like to use these words because I think that they have been turned into, like, I don't even know, like, they have lost their meaning because so many people put this in here. But we are at this point where we are on, like, a spiritual evolution. We are moving forward on this path, and in that path, this is that moment where we realize all of the things that we are healing from and that we've learned from and that have hurt us in the past and that we are taking knowledge from, And we are healing, truly healing, not just saying, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore because that's not in my life, but actually healing and stepping forward, you know, risen above and enlightened. It has become like a guru kind of word, but that's really where we are at that point, as people are stepping into this enlightenment. We are stepping into this next stage in our spiritual evolution, and knowing that we can heal, we can change, and we can make a better future for not only ourselves, but our children and everybody else. But that that we can live in harmony with the earth, that we can live in harmony with each other, that we can find this beautiful balance if we just step forward and we really tap into this source of love, into this healed self. And if every person on an individual basis healed and stepped forward in that, we would step forward as a families, as communities, as neighborhoods, as societies, as cities. I mean, globally, we would step forward into this new place. There is an amazing astrologer, Pam Gregory. I'm sure I talked about her previously. Every Sunday, UK time at 8 o'clock, she does, so that's like, it's 8 o'clock there. It's, they're 8 hours ahead of us. I want to say that's like, oh, that's noon. Okay, so noon on Sundays in the US, about, depending on where you are. She does a meditation where she just, everybody come and focus on love and peace and beauty, and they don't log in or sign on or do anything. It's literally just everybody take that 10 minutes and sit down and do this. And that is the kind of energy we need to shift into. Those are the kind of things we need to move forward in, is making those kind of changes and changing our conscious beings into putting out peace and happiness, and stop. This is where this energy of Eris comes in, but stop focusing on the superficial greed and money, and I mean, I guess those are the same thing, but all of the, that energy, we need to step away from that and realize that that is just superficial. We can't just sit at the table and talk about who is the fairest of them all. We need to step past that and realize what it is that we need to do to ensure that our future is better. We can't keep bickering with each other on these petty things. That's ridiculous. So let's talk about some big things that are happening astrologically. And hopefully I don't go on too many rants. I'm trying not to. All right, so first we have our annual Lion's Gate. This is when the Sun, the Earth, Sirius, and Orion are in alignment. This happens every year. It peaks this year on the 8th of August. So we'll begin feeling this energy around the dark moon. And I mean, already we've been starting to feel this, and then we'll continue to feel this. And this really brings in like a spiritual information download. This is a great time to ask the divine what it is that what advice they have for you. Excuse me. This is also a very fortunate energy, again, aiding in that manifestation. We are stepping into creating this new reality, and now is a good time to, get some feedback and really step forward to manifest these new realities. So we continue to have the finger of fate. This is going to continue. I mean, as I said before, this is going to continue for a long time, like 2 years. So we're gonna talk about this over and over again. We're making big changes, and regardless if this is started with the beginning of this finger of fate or towards the end, everyone is going to go through some kind of transformation. It being square to Pluto, which is also going to continue for a long time as Pluto moves back and forth. As Pluto moves back and forth, I don't know. Okay, sorry. Weird things were happening on my camera. The timer's going, so hopefully it's recording. Anyways, so with this being square to Pluto, like I said, is going to continue to run for a while because these are outer planets and they're very slow moving. And Pluto is going back and forth in retrograde, moving across this Capricorn Aquarius line, which can be kind of disruptive just in general because it brings out these deep, dark truths about what we need to see in order to make better choices. And that, in this finger of fate with Neptune and Haumea, is really bringing out deep, dark truth realities and calling on you to manifest this change. It is still conjunct with the star. Now the name has left my brain. I'll remember at some point later. Anyways, so we are big change and deep change, big truths coming out. We also have this aspect joined. So before it was joined by this cup of plenty, and you had this nice little base that it was sitting in. Now it has changed, and it's now creating a grand kite. So we have the minor trine that we've had and will continue to have for a while with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which is that pioneering energy, that energy that calls you to step out, see the world in a new perspective, rise above, see these truths, and go out and explore, not stay in your bubble. But this is really like popping all your bubbles and going out and doing something, exploring something, seeing something new, seeing the world for the first time through new eyes. It's amazing. It's a beautiful place. It is joined on the other side by Juno, which is trine to Pluto and Uranus, which really brings in this energy of community, of relationships, of commitments, and expanding your focus on deepening your relationships. It also puts Juno and Neptune at opposition to each other. So this is going to remove the disillusions that you have in your relationships. You're going to see your relationships for the truth that they are, and this is either going to deepen them and make your commitment stronger. You're going to have stronger friendships, stronger relationships, stronger marriage, whatever it is that you're in, and it's going to help these bonds grow. Simultaneously, if it's a relationship that's not working very well for you, you're probably going to see the truth in that. And it's time to just, okay, let's walk away from this before it becomes a problem. It also might help to heal some of those relationships, like things that you thought were superficial. You might be like, oh, wow, I really have all these things in common with you. Why don't you welcome into my community? Let's grow our communities. We have a really big focus in this moon on community. We have Pluto crossing that line in Aquarius. We have this trine going on with Juno. We have the sun and the moon and Venus and Leo. We have Mars entering Gemini, which brings in this like fiery, fast talking. I know I'm probably talking really fast. Whew. Okay, so this very fiery, talkative energy that makes you want to communicate with other people. So just be mindful if you're online. Don't get carried away. It's okay to share your opinions. It's okay to communicate. It is okay to step up and say, hey, that I don't, let's all share our ideas. Just don't be too forceful with that. Don't let this fiery energy take you away and lead you to say things that you don't really mean to say out loud. Because sometimes when you think something, you also shouldn't say it out loud. We all have those thoughts in our brain. And we need to kind of step back from that, which Mercury is going stationary direct on the 4th. So it happens in Virgo, which brings in it's time to clean up your mind thoughts. It's time to clean up your habits. It's time to clean up your mundane routines. And so you might find challenges in routines, and if you find a routine that just becomes super challenging, it's probably because that routine's not right for you. If you have a reoccurring thought that you're like, wow, that's really destructive, that is this energy saying, hey, that's the thing that you need to heal from. That's the thing that you need to clean out, get rid of, really just clean up that mind space. Take a breath and step forward and be in a better mindset. Find a routine that is working really effectively for you. Fine-tune those little things where you're wasting time or taking too much time doing. And that will help you to make the time that you need to build those relationships, to, learn something new, to reach out and really make and manifest the change that needs to happen in your life. So other things, we talked a little bit about the 29th degree. And so not only is Venus in Leo, but Neptune is at 29 degrees in Pisces, which is really about mastering your spiritual sight. This is a really good energy to tap into for your intuition, for doing divination, and all of those kind of things. And really, Neptune in retrograde right now is either overemphasizing your delusions, illusions, misrepresentations, blinders, whatever it is, your perception, so that you can see, oh my goodness, this is a silly perception to have. I'm just going to use a real obvious one. Let's say, you know, if you're a racist, you're going to see something that's going to be like, wow, you know, you're going to see that parody with, oh my goodness, now his name has left my brain too, but he pretends that he's blind in the skit, and he's a blind black KKK member, and it is hilarious. And why can I not think of his? I'm having a horrible time with names today. Anyways, you're going to see that parody, and you're going to be like, wow, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, maybe I shouldn't be racist anymore. So I know that's like the silliest example, but I'm just saying those are the kind of things that you're going to see. If you have a bias, or if there is something that you're just like not seeing, you're like, I refuse to see this truth, you're going to see it, and it's going to be in your face, and you're going to be like, wow. It could also be on the other side of that, where it just removes those rose-colored glasses, and you see the truth and the reality of a situation. With Pluto retrograde, that's really emphasizing that, and the Mercury retrograde is like cleaning up those thoughts, and it's like, oh, okay, let's just get rid of these illusions and delusions and, you know, coping mechanisms that make us have blinders or whatever it is. Let's just clean all of that out, and let's really step forward healing. Like, that's what I said earlier. It's not just like saying, oh, I healed from this past trauma and I'm no longer bothered by it, and I can just not think about it. It's like actually saying, okay, this is what happened to me. This is what hurt me. This is what I have done all of these years in order to survive. And I don't have to do that anymore, because I am not surviving this trauma. I already survived it. Now I am stepping forward with the knowledge I have from that trauma, healed, forgiving of self, which is a really important thing to do. And stepping forward, knowing that I am going to do the best that I can to not let that happen again, but also to move forward healed and from a better place. And so this energy is really, really, really pushing for that. And these are big things to heal from. These are big truths coming out in your face. This isn't like these aren't like superficial things like, oh, you know, I can't even think of one. Okay, she's prettier than me. Whatever, it's not like that. This is a real deep trauma, like crazy thing. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep talking about it because everything kind of aligns together. That's the more I have studied astrology, the more, yes, you can say, oh, this is a pseudoscience and it's not real, but the more you study it and the more you see the patterns and the more you recognize these cycles, the more you see like, wow, it's not just one thing. I have yet to come across a chart where two aspects of the chart completely contradict each other. Like this grand kite and the finger of fate very much align with each other in transformations. The conjunctions that we have, Venus being at 29 degrees at this Leo moon, all of these things come together, and you can see where they come together and kind of point to one thing. That's why astrology is one of the more complicated things to look into, because you can't just say, oh, this is the Leo moon and bam, this is what it always means. Because there's other things that are influencing that. You know, the sun and the moon are just one piece of the puzzle. And when we go through the whole chart, I say the same thing over and over and over again, because the energies all point towards the same thing. Like when they come in, it's crazy. Anyways, so we talked about, let's talk a little bit about retrogrades. We talked about Neptune, Mercury, and Pluto already. We also have Saturn retrograde right now, and Saturn's retrograde can be kind of challenging because Saturn is the father of time. Saturn is this, allows you, I just got the funniest visualization of, you know, turning a dial on an old TV, but when you turn the dial, you go into the future and you go into the past, and you can see the truths from that higher perspective, which is why I often say that Saturn has to do with karma. Saturn has to do with your place in the community and how your ripple effect comes out and then comes back to you. And so that energy in retrograde can be kind of challenging for many people, because it causes you to stop and think about your place in this timeline and where you are in your timeline and where you thought you would be and where you think you should be and how far apart all of those realities are. I often remind people that you cannot judge your reality now based on what you thought it was going to be like when you grew up as a child. You didn't know all of the things that would affect you and would impact your day-to-day life, like the trash. Like, who knew changing trash companies was such a hassle? But this is just one of those things that as a grown-up you have to worry about, and takes up time and energy and getting things done. And so when you're a child and you're like, when I grow up I'm going to be the president, and now I'm not the president, even though I'm over 35 and I should be the president right now. That is, you cannot compare those things and then be like, bang, I'm not the president, I'm so sad. Because that's not reality. Okay, so sometimes we have to step out of that and stop making those kind of comparisons. And when we think that we should be somewhere, what is that should? What are we comparing ourselves to? So this can be challenging with Saturn retrograde. It's a longer retrograde. It's not like Mercury where it's like a short period of time. This one lasts for months. And in Pisces, it often will bring out the feelings of our spirituality. So you might be questioning your own spirituality and where you are at in the process of your spirituality. So do you practice your faith? And do you practice your faith in a way that really represents how you would like to practice your faith? And so you might feel those feelings. And that is that Saturn retrograde. We also have Sirius in retrograde, which really asks us, are we nurturing ourselves? Sirius is about planting your seeds and reaping what you sow and creating your bounty. In order to do that, you have to make sure that you're taken care of. So are you fertilizing the ground before you plant your seeds? Just thinking about pouring fertilizer on myself. Anyways, it's a crazy thought. So are you doing the things that take care of yourself? One of the communities that I work with, one of their community leaders has a great saying. She says, you cannot give if your cup is empty. So you need to make sure that your own cup is full so that you can give to others. And that is this Sirius energy in retrograde, is asking, like, are you nurturing yourself? Are you giving yourself water and food and taking care of yourself so that you can provide the bounty for the future and your community and all of the things that you're creating bounty for? You have to take care of yourself. So just, I'm going to drink coffee, but maybe you should drink some water. I drink water when I run out of coffee, okay? We have some, it's always the people who are like, I have a degree in this, and then they're like, it's fine, I just drink coffee all day. No, I don't. I really do drink water, but we have some conjunctions going on. We have Mercury conjunct to Venus, which really gives us the confidence we need to make the necessary changes that we were talking about with the Mercury retrograde. Venus brings in that self-love, that courage, that I am guided by this eternal source of love from deep within, and I can step forward with that energy, and I can make these changes. I can clean the house that I need to, I can get rid of the negative self-talk, and I can really step forward. Mars is conjunct to Jupiter, which, and there, you know, Mars just came into Gemini. We talked a little bit about that, but this is really energizing and emphasizing that Gemini energy for promoting communication and expanding and expressing your ideas, and also seeking justice. Both Jupiter and Mars have this warrior, just doing the right thing energy, and call on us to make, that is the energy they want you to expand on. You know, calling out injustices, standing up and speaking your truth that is correct. So I have a saying that I got from an oracle reader at some point. It was on a little card, and it said, I speak my truth. And when my husband sees it, he always laughs about it. He's like, yeah, your truth. If we are closed-minded and we only see the truth that we want to see, then your truth is probably not a good place to stand in. If our eyes are opened to the world around us, and we are open to the ideas and the knowledge and the information that is all around us, and no one has any excuses because we all have access to the internet, and we can all step forward knowing that we always have the availability to look it up. So if you need a piece of information, you can find it. There's no reason we should step forward closed-minded. If we are always open to the truth, and we are always open to seeing all the perspectives and not just our own, then your truth becomes more closely aligned with the reality that actually exists outside of our brains and outside of our own perspective. And the more that we listen to other people, and the more that we seek out information from other people's perspective, the more we look at the picture from 1,000 different views, then our truth becomes more aligned with the reality. And that grand kite that we were talking about earlier with the little minor trine, that calls to that perspective. You have to open your reality to more truths, and you have to see that you can be more closely aligned with what's really going on in the world, that you can see truths for what they really are. You just step out of your own way. Ooh, I shaved off my thumb. Oh, I shaved off part of my thumb. It really hurts. And I just moved my thumb. Ooh, don't bleed. Okay. I was making potato chips on the mandolin. Alright, anyways, so it's like burning. It's really hurting me. We also have Eris and Chiron still conjunct, and I talked about that earlier. But this is continuing to really call out the BS and heal. Like, let's stop saying we're healed when we're not really healed. Let's stop pretending that the problem is this when it is actually this really deep, big problem over here. And yeah, finally, we have, with those two conjunctions, we have Chiron and Eris are trine to Vesta and Venus. Now, Vesta and Venus, they're 9 degrees apart, so you could consider it a very wide conjunction, but typically conjunctions with planets are 8 degrees, so that's just outside of that. However, what is it? Venus, Chiron is conjunct to, or Chiron is trine to Vesta, and Eris is trine to Venus. Really bringing in this love and devotion to that change that Chiron and Eris are calling to. It is a reminder that you have an eternal source of love that you can tap into at any point. This is an unconditional love that is always there, and this is where your devotion should be focused. all of the truths and the realities and the things that are coming out, all of the chaos that we might feel around us that is just crumbling our reality, what is left is this love, is this devotion to being the best that we can be and stepping forward into the future, healed and better, to create a better reality. I don't know if you can hear me over what sounds maybe a train, a giant truck. I don't know. That's a truck. Anyways, all right. And oh yeah, I don't know how I missed this in that. I must have missed a page. Anyways, we also have a big square going on with Jupiter and Saturn. So before we had Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, and they called out big change for justice. This was a time when you know, our freedom of personal rights, we were really expanding on this. Who am I giving my authority to, and what am I doing, and what are they doing with that authority if I'm not keeping the authority for myself? And really questioning our civil rights, our place in our community, what we're doing, and how to expand on this, so that when we wind that dial on that television that can show you forward and backwards, when we wind that forward and we wind it back, are we seeing a reality that we're happy with? Are we seeing something that we really want to create? And if you fast forwarded at that screen and the reality was really not what you wanted, this was that moment, okay, I need to make these changes and I need to expand on the reality that I really want to create. I want to be able to say when I die on my deathbed and I look back over my life, like I had the life I wanted to live. And I am happy with all of these things. And it's really time to make those changes. So now with the square, it is asking you, are you making those changes? Are you doing the things that you need to do in order to be able to look back on your life and say, this is the life I wanted to lead. This is the thing that I wanted. This is the legacy I wanted to leave behind. I know oftentimes we have this thought like, oh, my place in this world isn't important. Like my individual place is not important to the grand scheme, but we're not ants. I mean, sometimes people like to compare us to ants and say, oh, you're just one of those, you know, but we're not. And each person's place in this world creates a ripple effect, sharing that energy with everything that is around them. And then in turn, it continues on, and all of these things, we are all interacting with each other's energy. And even if it is the smallest interaction, sometimes it has the biggest ripple effect later on. So you might not think that that one moment that you interacted with this one person created such a big change, but it could. You know, I imagine if you talk to very powerful people, they would say that these small moments created big change. And I'm sorry, what distracted me in that moment was watching a documentary about Hitler's early life, and he almost drowned in a frozen river, and this guy was walking by and pulled him out and saved his life. That one thing changed the future of the world. And it was funny. I mean, it's not really funny. It's never funny to talk about the death of a person, but of all people, with the hindsight that we have, I imagine that that person who pulled him from the river was like, damn, I should have let that kid drown. The world would be a much different place. But who knows? Maybe it would be worse. Maybe some other leader, you know, Stalin could have been way more powerful. Who knows? Russia could be in charge of the whole world right now. Who knows? Okay? One small thing can create big, big changes. And regardless if you think that your place in it is important or not, it is. And It might not ripple effect directly to you. It might be a ripple that happens to a ripple that happens to a ripple that then affects something big and makes major changes, but you can make those changes. You know, they say it only takes 3 people and then you can reach anyone in the world. Well, if you are sharing this positive, good, you know, integrity, if the message that you are sharing with all of the people around you is of integrity, kindness, honesty, loyalty, these universal morals, and that's what you're sharing with all of the people around you, and you are saying this is how we should all live, and I encourage you to live this way, and I live this way, and this is a better way to live for everyone, because we are focusing on shared morals of kindness and goodness. Just doesn't even seem like a word, but we are focusing on that, and that's the ripple that you're leading out into the world, and you affect all the people around you. Even if only half of them make that change and then they ripple that out, they're going to touch 3 people with that energy, and then you just continue that, and eventually everybody has been affected by that, and we have like weeded out the ones that aren't willing to make the change. We have gotten rid of the ones that are destructive to our society, and we have stepped forward doing the right thing with integrity and kindness and justice for all. I didn't mean to do that. It's just how it happened, okay? So this square is really calling that out, and it's crazy to me because the last time that a lot of these planets did the things that they were doing right now is during the Revolutionary War, during the French Revolution, during these major changes that happened globally before, and it really set a course for a different world. I mean, can you imagine if none of these countries had broken free from Great Britain, and Great Britain was still the ruler of the whole world, and the British Tea Company would have been like, who knows, you know? If that would have, we would be in a much different place, just like the whole Hitler thing, okay? Small acts that grow to big things. Each person is important. Each decision that you make is important, and you cannot discredit your own place or who you are, and the importance that your color, your beauty, your uniqueness, your amazingness brings to the community. You know, we need a splash of every color, and that is what's going to make the world a more beautiful place. We need to see, and I don't mean color and race, I just meant in like, each person is unique and emits their own unique energy, and that is beautiful, and we need each unique energy to come to the table and set and bring their talents and bring their skills, which again, this Lunasa is the celebration of Lu, the god of many talents, who is able to master anything and everything. And this is a time when people would come together and bring their talents to the community. You would see great fairs. You would see big engagements where everybody came together, and the milk maker and the bread maker and the potter and everybody was like, here's everything, and they would make their trades, and they would be like, this is amazing. We all have these great talents. We all come together to build a beautiful community. And that is a beautiful thing. That is what we need to step forward into. And if we started that on an individual basis, we could grow that into bigger things. I love supporting local artists and, you know, practitioners in my community, providing them space to sell their stuff or host a thing or whatever it may be, in order to provide that space and help people prosper. I want our world to be a better place. It's so funny. Sometimes I feel really cheesy saying these things, but this is the reality. So I encourage you, I implore you, I command you. No, I'm just kidding. It is time to make those changes. See these realities for the reality that they are, the realities that you need to see, so that you can make the changes that you need to make in order to be a healthier, happier, better person. And no matter how hard it might be right now to see that reality, no matter what it is that you're like, I just can't make it through this, you can, and you will step out on the other side better. You will step out stronger. You will step out knowing that you are the best that you can be, and that you are going to do the right thing, and that is all that you can do, and that's all you need to do. And just keep doing the next right thing. I don't know why I'm very quotey today, so I challenge you to name all of the things that I quoted on accident. I really don't do it on purpose. These are just the things that come into my brain. Sometimes the collective conscious, it reminds me of Bumblebee from the Transformers movies, and he talks with radio stations, okay? Sometimes that's how my brain communicates with me. I get pieces of songs or media or whatever it is, and it just comes into my brain, and then I have to share it with you. So all you can do is do the next right thing and step forward and make the right choice and tap into that source of eternal love that you have inside you. No matter how dark it might feel, no matter how deep of a cave you feel like you have gotten yourself into, the great Mother Goddess is in those caves. And it is in those caves where she really blesses you with the transformation that you need to make. She gives you a big warm hug, and then she pushes you out of that cave and says, now go do it. And that's where we're at right now, okay? So let that energy push you up and out and into the world, rebirthed, recreated, better, happier, healthier, and knowing that this is the right thing. We have to make these changes. So with all of that said, thank you for staying. If you watched the whole video, I didn't mean to make it this long, but sometimes it's just really important that we talk about these things and about, making these changes. You can do it. So I hope that you have a phenomenal day and that you are enjoying the harvest of your energy, and that you are beginning to see that you can make the changes you need to make, that you will succeed in these transformations, and that the future is very bright. So, many blessings. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I never say that in my videos, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way, and I hope to see you guys all later.